Birmingham Cathedral is a Grade 1 listed building, and it's a rare example of English Baroque. And the design of the building is based on Italian churches from the later 17th century. It was started as the parish church of St Philip's, and it was built in 1715. Thomas Archer was the architect, and he always intended there to be a tower. The tower was added in 1725. It's built from brick and it has a stone cladding around it. The tower is used to house the bells, the clock, and at the very top is a cupula. When you go into the tower, you go in through a little wooden door, and it takes you up a steep stone windy staircase, which is very dark, until you get to another wooden door that then takes you into the bell ringing chamber.
Bells are rung every Sunday for the main services, but we also ring on Monday nights. We ring a peal, which is a non-stop piece of ringing that lasts 3.5 hours. We've been doing that since 1950, and we've rung nearly 2,000 of those on these bells to date.
After the bell ringing chamber, you carry on up the staircase until you come to another door. You go in there, and that's where the bells are. There are 12 bells in total, added over various different times in history, some of them weighing over a ton. As you can imagine, when the bells are ringing, the sound in here is absolutely deafening.
In the early part of the 20th century, the bells were in a very bad state of disrepair, and it was partially this which led to the new ringer bells being put in 1937 to replace the previous ringer bells. The acoustics of the tower have a lot to do with how a ringer bell sound. Here in the ringing room, you can hear each bell clearly individually, which makes them a very good instrument. Outside, however, they have a very grand sound.
It's a part of our heritage, a part of our tradition, a part of our history. I think people, when they walk down the streets and they hear the bells ringing, often they remark that they enjoy hearing those sounds.
It's a very evocative sound. It's a sound that hasn't changed for centuries, and it really puts a backdrop against modern bustling city life.
You carry on up the stairs, which are even more worn in this part of the tower. There's no metal handrail, it's just a loose rope handrail at this stage. And then you get to the part of the tower where the clock is housed. You can see 4 faces of the clock in reverse, as well as the mechanisms for the clock, and quite a lot of very old graffiti. It almost seems to have been a tradition that people that have worked and been in the cathedral in the past would have made their mark and created some graffiti within the tower. So there are many different names and dates that we can see. This part of the tower is really atmospheric, and you can hear the sounds from outside, but you can also hear the loud ticking of the clock. It feels like you're one of few people who've been privileged enough to go up into this part of the church. After the clock, you continue up a set of wooden stairs to the very top of the tower until you reach a loft hatch. You clamber up into the area that's known as the Cupula. It has an elaborate ironwork fence around the edge of it and columns that then hold a little tiny dome on the very top. Above that is the weather vane, the orb and the cross, which are all heavily gilded. You can get out and stand on the cupula, but only 2 people would be able to stand there at one time, and you can look across the entire churchyard and beyond to see the whole of Birmingham and the region. What's really fascinating about the view up here is how it has changed over the years. We're lucky to have a painting from 1821 that shows us what it would have looked like at that time. This painting was done by an artist called Samuel Lynes. He knew the area was going to be developed, so he went up to the top of the tower at St Philip's and drew what he saw. The painting shows windmills, it shows hills, it shows farmyards, and it shows people about their daily work. The tower is sat at the heart of Birmingham and has seen it grow from a small town to a thriving city. We wonder what the tower might see over the next centuries and what it might bear witness to.